Hola gente, ¿cómo va? Bienvenidos a un nuevo video de Cinema Yarko. Pero atentis, no es un video grabado y no es cualquier video, así es un vivo. Y hoy vamos a hablar con una banda canadiense que está buenísima, una banda de synthpop espectacular representada por el sello Retro Reverb Records, que la verdad que tiene unas bandas muy pero muy copadas. Le mando un saludo y un agradecimiento muy especial a Cole, que él nos permitió esta nota, y obviamente a mucha gente que me hace el aguante. Por ejemplo, voy a tomar un traguito de esto. Gracias a ellos. Vamos a empezar con la presentación. Ellos dos son unos capos, son Gaz y Tom, y son la banda Honey Beard. Vamos a conocerlos, denle un fuerte aplauso. Welcome, guys. Thank you for being waiting there and being so patient. Thank you for being here. It's a really good pleasure. I'm a little bit nervous. This is my first international interview, but I think we'll be fine with both of you. Please tell me, who are you in the first place, and then we will start this interview.
Well, my name is Gaz, and I'm the singer of Honeybeard.
And I'm Tom, and I play keyboard and some guitar.
Great. Thank you both. Well, I will ask first, in the first place, that I want to know, first of all, why did you choose to make music? You can answer first one and then the second one. I mean, like when you were younger, you know, when you were child, maybe you have another relative that is a musician or so like that. Maybe you can answer me that.
So for me, I don't know, I guess I just got into music as a young person. I was listening to a lot of metal music at the time. Metallica was a big band that I loved. And then I moved on to, at around that time, I was kind of writing poetry as a teenager might do. And then that came on, kind of were more suited for lyrics. And then I had the opportunity to sort of jam or sing with a metal band at the time. And then at the same time I was learning bass guitar. So I was in a couple of bands, and I guess when I heard the music, I just wanted to make the music. That's just, I can't explain it more simply than that.
Great. And you, Tom?
I started probably when I was like 14 or something, just messing around with a guitar that my uncle left at our house one day, and just kind of taught myself how to play some guitar, we had like an old family piano, so I just always messed around on that, and that's kind of where it got going.
Oh, great. So you were really young when you start with this, and you start with metal, with Metallica. Tom, sorry, what kind of music were you hearing at that time?
I was, early on, I was kind of into more like the punk music of the time. So like Pennywise, Green Day.
Cool.
Those, that was, probably around 1994-ish. So I think Dookie album had just come out. That was kind of when I really started listening to music.
Great. Well, I really love metal music. I love also Rammstein from Germany, but I love all kind of music. So I understand your taste for the music that you were hearing. But you end up making some synthpop or pop, or I don't know how to tell it. How did you end up doing this kind of music? I mean, it's really much heard in Canada, or what?
Pretty. Go for it, guys.
So, well, for us, I guess we thought when we first started making music, it was really out of necessity because we didn't have a drummer. So we started to look for ways to have a backing track or have a digital drummer. And by messing around with that, we discovered that we could record our own music using a DAW, which we use as Logic, which you can get typically on the Mac. And from there, I mean, we both like music, but around that time, around 2010, 2011, there was a soundtrack out for the movie Drive.
Oh, yes.
I loved it. I loved the sounds. It kind of encapsulated a lot of the music that I'd listened to when I was very young, growing up in the late 80s and early 90s. So we kind of just started messing around, and I'm more of a guitar player, and Tom's well, Tom can play more instruments than he can play the keyboards properly. So we just it just kind of blossomed from there. What do you reckon, Tom?
Yeah, that's pretty much how the story went, I guess. And it took a lot of just messing around and teaching ourselves how to kind of produce music. And we weren't really going for like a synth pop sound. We were just kind of whatever we thought sounded good at the time. And then I guess that's kind of the genre we kind of fell into. It wasn't really we weren't directing ourselves there. We kind of just landed there.
Oh, well, it's like a happy accident, maybe.
Precise.
And when did you meet? I mean, like friends, coworkers. How do you end up together and making this band, Honeybird?
So I left. I'm originally from Ireland. I'm an Irishman.
Oh,
and so I'm a European. And at the time it was the economic crash, and it really hit Ireland pretty bad. So myself and my girlfriend, or who's my wife now, we left, and our two options were either Canada or Australia. And we picked Canada because it was closer. And we were in North America before. So when I landed here in November 2011, early 2012, or in February, I started playing this sport, an Australian sport called Australian rules football. Funny enough, because I had worked with an Australian, he suggested I come down, make some friends, and play some sports, because I like playing sports. So the first day there, I was kicking a ball around, and I met Tom, and Tom showed me how to kick the ball and how to handball, how to play, really, because Tom's the best player on the team. And he didn't do a great job because I'm not very good. So, and that's how we met. And I one of the reasons why I came over here was to sort of start music again, and to try something different, because I was in more guitar-based bands in Ireland. So I asked Tom to be in the band, and he said yeah. So we just started jamming from there.
Great. Is it true, Tom? Are you the best player of that sport?
Oh, no, that's not true.
His trophy desk says otherwise. But yeah.
Oh, maybe you can show us the trophy.
They're in a closet.
Okay.
Where are they? In the basement.
Closet.
With a lot of clothes.
Exactly.
Tom's the kind of player, he'd be able to win a game, but also if you're in trouble on the field,
he'd cool.
Throw a few punches, sort you out,
Okay. Don't use violence, please. And if you can tell me something about you as a band, which are your influences? Because you were hearing another kind of music, of course, all, I think, but maybe you have I don't know how to say it. Are you fan of another musician that you like? Maybe in your website it was said that you are influenced by Depeche Mode, I believe, but what other musicians or bands do you like as an influence, inspiration?
I think, like, as of late, we've more been influenced by specific songs rather than like an artist in general. Like, we'll hear a song that we think is cool or we like, and maybe that artist has no other songs that we like, but that song we like, and we'll try to come up with like a Honeybeard take on that song, kind of thing. We're not really trying to follow or emulate another band. It's really, we're going for specific sounds, and even sometimes within the song, it's just even a little part of the song that kind of triggers something. And as like an example for that would be the last song on our latest record is a song called Rot Away, and at the end we were listening to it was a Perfume Genius song that had a lot of like a big difference between the verse and the chorus, like a big volume and intensity difference. So we tried to kind of emulate that for the end of that song. So it's really not we're influenced by different songs here and there, and maybe Gary has a more, or Gaz has a more overarching influence. I kind of know what I'm gonna say, but I'll let him say it.
Yeah, that's probably pretty close. It's because when you put on a, as you said, Sharko, off camera when we were talking, you said that Honeybird, the album is something you can dance to, but it's also something you can sit back and relax to. So
yes,
every song is different. It's probably something that we enjoy doing. And it reflects the many influences that we have. For me personally, my approach to songwriting is kind of probably based more from the metal side of my influences, like especially a band like Tool, and also a band like Pink Floyd, in terms of how they had not the typical pattern or format for a song, and how they would be willing to be avant-garde and to change and to break down. Now, we don't go that far, but it does inspire me to write music a certain way. And Tool are very, very influential, especially in the themes of Tool, and the concepts there. But and vocally, I try not to emulate, I'm inspired very much by The Doors. The Doors are my all-time favorite band. And Jim Morrison, I've got posters all around here, just to keep me inspired, you know what I mean? To keep the artist front and forward, and not to be an image or a copy of somebody else, but to be true to yourself and to your art. So yeah, that's kind of where my influences stand. But in terms of electronic music, Depeche Mode's Violator, when that came out, I think in 1990 or 1991, yes. That was, I was really getting into music at the time. And even though I ended up sort of getting into metal, that was a real big influence on me, like Personal Jesus and Enjoy the Silences on that. Oh. It was just amazing time for electronic music, especially after the SynthPop era of the 80s. So a darkness, definitely dark bands are what I'm attracted to. You see that in Honeybird music.
Sorry, no, that's great. I never heard another band that says that the thing that they like, it's maybe a song but not the band. I think that's cool, and it's sincere. I was thinking, how does Honeybird works? I mean, which one of you? It's the one that wrote the lyrics, and which one wrote the sound? I believe, Tom, it's more like the sound, and you guess the lyrics, but maybe you sometimes change or something, or you usually, how do you usually work?
Gaz does 99.9% thing. Maybe I'll throw a lyric idea in every once in a while. Whether he takes is a different story, but
look at his face.
No, that's most of the writing. Gary is a great lyricist and has done a pretty good job tying all of our releases kind of together lyrically, and you really have to pay attention to the lyrics to kind of catch on to all that. And then for song, like the music, the sound part, it kind of comes three ways. Like sometimes I'll have an idea and I'll shoot it over to Gary and he'll add what he thinks. Sometimes he'll have an idea, he'll shoot it over and I'll add. And then the best times is when we have the opportunity to rehearse together, and we'll just mess around and come up with something. And those tend to be the best ones, I think. But it's been, with the pandemic, it's been hard to get together as much as we like.
You are in Toronto and Gaz another place, or?
I'm about 45 minutes away from Toronto, in Hamilton, it's called.
Oh.
It's like a 45-minute drive, and then Gary's in Toronto.
Okay. Oh, you're not so fast each other, so far, sorry, from each other, but you're separated. Sorry, doesn't sound that.
I said we're pretty close. We live close together, like only 40.
That's cool. But Zoom works, right, for this? Zoom, maybe Meet or Teams. I wanted to ask about RRR, Retro Reverb Records, the label that it's publishing you, I mean, promoting your work. Believe that's cool because not a lot of people like to help bands like you. I mean, you have a really great sound. I love your songs. So I want to thank again to Cole. But I need to ask, how did you get to Retro Reverb Records?
Well, I think we just discovered them on Twitter. Actually,
Oh,
we were, I guess we were looking around for someone to help us with, because we had discovered the synth wave community at the time, which was much more retro 80s based. And even though we had a lot of that in our sound, but we kind of wanted to explore it. We thought it was a cool little community, and a lot of it did center around, which we didn't know at the time, but it centered around the soundtrack for Drive. So we felt we had a lot of things in common with the community, and Retro Reverb Records seemed to be like a small starting up independent label. So we just got in contact, and then we spoke to Alex and Cole, and really that's it. I think we were one of the first batch of people on their
oh, cool.
books.
Oh, you know that. That's cool. That's great. Yes, they are, of course, Alex too. They are good people, I think, and they do a really great job. Um, so that's it. Maybe Twitter talk, and that's cool, right?
Yeah, that's how it worked. We talk to Cole nearly every day. He's very good communicator.
Oh,
and
yes, yes.
He works very hard for the label. So we, so it's just a good relationship. And this is this album here. Their main part in doing this album was distributing it out and creating the vinyl, and because there's a lot of work involved in that, you know. So unlike a lot of other artists who had long wait times because of the vinyl and supply sort of chain crisis, he had a good strategy of actually getting the vinyl ordered way before we announced sales. So it was only about a 3-month wait, and now they're starting to arrive at people's doors, and starting to see a lot of photographs of people playing the vinyl. So that's pretty cool, and that's what Retro Reverb Records, or RRR, I find it hard to say. That's what they that's what they helped with. So pretty good.
That's cool. So this is the latest album you're releasing from Honeybird, Oneiros. It's okay, that pronunciation for the name. What does Oneiros mean? And the word in the first place, then the album.
Tom, you want to take that one?
It means the word means dreams, and it's just like it's a reference to a lot of, again, Gary's lyrics, especially on this album, where it was a lot of like dreamlike states, or kind of the gap between life and death, I guess.
That's profound.
It's
so
based
deep.
on it's the Greek word oneiros, meaning dream, as Tom said, and there's a lot of sort of ancient Greek iconography and imagery associated with this particular album. Although it doesn't, bar the name, you wouldn't really see it, but it tops off a very long concept that we've been doing since our first record, and it just kind of finishes off that story, this particular album. And in it we have a song called Slipstream of a Daydream, and that kind of speaks directly to the Oneiros concept of dreaming, where the person's in a coma-like state because of stuff that happened in previous albums and EPs that we released. And so it just kind of states it contextualizes the concept that we've been doing for the past while, which is now, I think, more or less complete. So it's about the dreamlike state, and it's also an allegory for the will to live, or the will to change versus the will to stay the same, or the will to pass from sight. So the dichotomy in a sort of an intense struggle that comes to bear at some parts in our lives, whether it be being away from people during the pandemic, or whether it be some grief, or maybe the end of your life. It's that struggle. So it's exploring that, and that's what Oneiros kind of sums up for us.
Oneiros then. I was telling Oneiros, but it's more like Oneiros. Well, I was listening to this album like, I don't know, 2 hours a day from since I know you, and I really liked it. My favorite ones are the first and the second songs. That's called Half Life is the first one, and Lighthouse. There you have this thing you told that I told you before about you from that you have songs that are both sides, sorry, that works as a relax moment or a party moment. I believe the first one is more like relax and Lighthouse. The second is more like party, but they work both sides. I really liked Lighthouse. I mean, just the beginning, this punchy thing, this happy and alive sound. But I have to ask about this one in particular. What is this song really about? I mean, it's dedicated to some person maybe, or it's just like you need a lighthouse in life and you're talking to God or something like that?
It's about what I said just there about the struggle of decision making. Lighthouse presents hope, just like lights presents direction of ships in a storm. It's a beacon of hope, and the song is really about focusing on that beacon, focusing on when all else fails, when everything is dark, when everything around you is going really badly and you're depressed or whatever your ailments may be. It's that lighthouse is there to seek it out and to go towards the light, so to speak. And again, that has two layered meanings as depending how you take it, but it's got a hopeful tone. So it's really about hope, a song about hope.
It sounds like that. Really, I like really much this song. So it's a song for yourself, maybe, for all of us.
For all of us, and especially the character that's been going through this journey from our first EP, 1,000 Million Things, first album, Dreamless Sleep, right up to now, Oneiros. So it's about that last. It's almost like if you had the choice to pass on to heaven or to come back to the world, right? So it puts that choice there, and Lighthouse is saying one of two things. It depends on your interpretation, but it's always about go to whatever you consider your lighthouse, whatever you consider your light, and hope, and not to dwell in the darkness, but to make that decision. So it's a thing of hope. So if you're listening to it, it's really just saying, hang in there and go to the best place you can.
I strongly recommend this song for the start of every day of the week. Sometimes more like the Mondays, maybe, You're going up and Lighthouse from Honeybird, because it's really, really great. I was thinking that you said that you like Tool, this band Tool, and I have a really good friend called Cherno that we used to have a radio program talking about movies and series and stuff, and he's really fan of this band. So I had to ask, I'm improvising this question, I didn't think it a lot, but do you think that you can, maybe if someone asks to do this, that you can maybe do songs, or one song at least, for a movie or a short or some product, audiovisual product?
If we could do a soundtrack?
Well,
exactly, soundtrack.
The song Reverie from the EP Reverie, I think Gaz wrote that as kind of a soundtrack to was it for our friend Julian, who had a YouTube video about what was the show that he was doing the video on?
I'm not sure. It was he was doing a podcast about was it Archie or something? It was some Netflix show that was quite
Riverdale.
Riverdale, that's it.
Oh, Riverdale. Cool.
So he asked Gary to write a song that kind of sounded like it would go to that show, and that's where the song Reverie came from.
Well, so you have the experience. Maybe if I ask you to make a song for a product that I would make in the future, because I love cinema, I study cinema, and that's why my name, Cinema Sharko. But I could ask to you to do that. Of course, paying you, But I think you can do that. Of course, you have this 80s sound. I love that 80s and 90s, maybe this kind of music, that decade. I love it. I have a t-shirt from Thundercats. I really like your kind of sound. Sorry. And I was of course listening to your EPs and the album you have before. I really like your career. You can say that. I think that's it for this moment. I really recommend to the people to listen to your album. Maybe you can tell us anything else about you that you might say, that you want to promote yourself.
Thank you, Sharko, because your English is great. I wish I had a second language, but I do, but it's Irish, but it's not very good. But no, it's been great to be on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
If like this is the vinyl here.
Oh, it's beautiful, really. Okay. I love it.
And it's pretty neat. So if you're into the vinyl,
well,
you can go to our Bandcamp page.
Yes.
Now, you could actually just go to our website, and all our links are there. So our website is very simple. It's honeybeardband.com. And Honeybeard, if you want to go to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything like that, it's Honeybeard Band. Or if you want to go to Spotify, you can listen to all our music there as well. So we're just delighted that our music's getting out. We're delighted that we have a fan in Argentina. That's really that's really cool.
Whenever you can, if you can travel, letting behind this pandemic or whatever, if you are in Argentina or maybe Uruguay or Chile, we can meet. I really love to that. I have a last question. It's really I think appear in my Zoom. I have a last question. I think it's a little one and an easy one, but I think it's crucial. And it's, why Honeybeard? Why this name? I was imagining maybe a bunch of bees in your beard because you have the honey.
It comes up if you Google Honeybeard. It's a guy with a beard of bees. You want to take it?
Or you go for Tom.
So, I guess it was we were just trying to come up with band names, and we knew we were going to be, at this point, we knew we were going to be more of an electronic band. And Gaz sent over a list of probably like 20 or 30 band names, and most of them were like Droid Runner. Sorry, my daughter's coming up the stairs here. Like Droid Runner, or I don't know. You had a bunch of like very spacey electronic names, and then the last one on the list was Honeybeard, which didn't sound like any of the other ones. Sorry. So it's different, and it stuck out to me. There's like a whole backstory on the name, but it's a long story. But essentially, that name stuck out, and I said I kind of like that one. And Gary wrote back like, "Really, that one? That's the weirdest one of all of them." And we just went with it. And people are a little confused when they think we're going to be playing banjos and guitars, and they see our laser setups, but it kind of works
in a swamp.
Yeah.
Chewing on a
At one stage, there was honey in. I had a beard, and there was honey stuck in it. So that is there is truth to that. So that's how it kind of
Oh, cool, cool. Are you having the last one? I assure you. Do you have any dates? I don't know the word in English to that. Are you having any concert soon?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're hoping to. Once we find out, once the pandemic restrictions start to ease, we had a bunch of shows last year that we had to cancel. And it cost us money, so we don't want to do that until we're sure. But when we do, we'll put it out on our social media.
Great.
It seems like restrictions are slowly getting lifted here in Canada, so hopefully before too long.
Great, great. I really would love to see you alive, at least in a video, but playing alive, it would be really good to see the chemistry between you. Really, I don't have any words to thank you. I really love this interview. It was a short one, but we are not having more time. The Zoom is cutting this, but I really thank you guys. I hope I can see you soon, and I really recommend to the people that hear this Honeybeer album, Oneiros. I will tell this in Spanish for my viewers, and thank you very much, really, guys. I'm really happy. I was excited before the interview, and I'm more excited right now. I'm really happy to meet you. Thank you really much. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Sharko.
No, thank you in Spanish. Bueno, gente, les súper recomiendo que escuchen este CD, lo pueden encontrar en Spotify, también hay canciones en YouTube, toda su carrera, la verdad que está buena, son bastante nuevos, digamos, pero ahí con el apoyo de Retro Reverb Records sé que se viene una carrera muy larga. Este último CD está buenísimo, a mí sobre todo me gusta la segunda canción, Lighthouse, que sería Faro, que como dijo él, ahí Gaz, es como una señal, un lugar, digamos, algo que nos ayuda a seguir adelante y que nos divide entre, no sé, el bien y el mal, se podría decir. Así que está súper copada la canción, súper copado el CD. Vayan a escucharlo en Spotify. Gracias por quedarse acá, gracias por estar viendo, por dejar sus comentarios. Pónganle like al video y pronto, en los siguientes días, voy seguramente a recortar ciertas partes de la nota y voy a doblar todo lo que dijeron los chicos porque es más fácil que subtitular. Así que si no van a ver la nota entera, después pueden ver los recortes que van a estar muy buenos. Gracias por verme otra vez, gracias por verme en vivo. No olviden suscribirse al canal si les gustó esto y todo el contenido que hago y nos vemos la próxima.